Dragon Link and Eldritch are back, and you know what? Sprite's not going to stop them from topping a regional. Don't make 30% of you guys have not smashed the ever-living crap out of that subscribe button. Smash this when we climb up the 100K ladder here. We have your breakdown for the St. Louis Regional out of this past weekend. The biggest represented deck in Top Cut is Sprite. Who would have saw that coming? The tail out of a lot of the regionals this weekend was Sprite. And we've shown a few like very rare examples out of regionals where, you know, yes, Sprite did end up getting a first and second in Texas, but you look at this one, you're like, wow, Sprite really took the lead, but Dragon Link ended up winning the whole regional. Like, the reason why I always say that Dragon Link and Sprite kind of do the same thing is they set up a whole bunch of negates and then they kind of roll with it, all right? Like, but the recovery power for Sprite is a little bit easier, in my opinion, than versus Dragon Link. So, to see that Dragon Link overcame, you know, the giant obstacles that were placed in front of it for this regional, quite entertaining and quite nice here. We also had 2 tier elements in Top Cut as well, which also paints a pretty interesting story here. I do think with week 1 syndrome here being very apparent, you're seeing a lot of players try to adapt and figure out what builds are best for tier. Because, I mean, obviously, like, you've got the Danger build, you've got Despia if you want to incorporate in there. You have so many decision trees that you're going to have to really make in terms of what you want to do with this. It's definitely very quite interesting. We've also got Dragon Link, which, like I said, ended up winning the regional. We also had Despia. Man, Despia just... Sword Soul, gone. Sword Soul what? Sword Soul just took the virtual world exit out and just straight logged out of the Top Cut here. And we also had a blind going second Eldritch deck, which, when you get the chance to look at that here in this video, you're just going to go, what in the world is this pile? And I assure you, ladies and gentlemen, it's definitely interesting. We're going to pass on over for some top deck lists now. All right, the first deck list we're going to be looking at here was first place out of St. Louis. Trishla ended up sharing this on their YouTube, and you guys got the chance to kind of get a little bit more in-depth tutorial for this. But you still see that we are holding on to the Brave package, ladies and gentlemen. You are seeing the power that this package still gives to this. 51 cards still showcases that, yes, while we do play larger numbers for a deck like this, once again, it is not being hindered by those larger numbers, which is what you really want to see in terms of application and things for this. So good stuff. I'm glad to see that, you know, like the inclusion of the Punk package in here is also still a very solid carry for this deck. You know, just over, you know, the whole span of things here for how this deck has set up, handled itself, and continues to hold itself. While this might have been the only version of this deck that topped over the weekend here, seeing that, once again, Dragon Link in an appropriate player's hands looks like it can get the job done. So good stuff, ladies and gentlemen. Next up is Sprite. Now we're main decking Triple Dark Ruler No More. I've seen between a lot of the lists this weekend that a lot of people are opting to play either Talents or Dark Ruler No More. And while Dark Ruler No More clears up a field a little bit easier, sometimes it doesn't quite get the job done. So I feel like either way you can pick with this. I see Carrot plus the double red here is pretty much going to be your normal results. Very hand trap heavy, by the way. Like, whew. No imperms, by the way. We're just playing the one Froggy Roo. That's fine. And then, of course, you do get to see Ultimate Slayer down here with Yield Ignitus and Yield Kishila Kill here, doing cleanup on aisle 9. Also, shout out to Almirage here. If you can actually make Almirage and protect so you don't get ogred, oh, it feels so good, man. Like, this is literally the go-to power play. Alright, so Sprite looks pretty much the same across all builds. You get very little leeway on where you want to change things, but you have decent spots at that. Next up, more Sprite. Oh boy, now this build opted to play Crossout Designator, which is something I think a few people have really considered wanting to explore, but when you're within the deck space here, you kind of got to sacrifice hand traps. Like, you do see, like, in order to play Crossouts, you see a reduction in crows here. You see that the Effect Veiler got shaved off down to lower numbers here. And you do see we are at 41 cards, but I mean, we obviously have talents. We have Imperm in here so we can spread out things a little bit more. We also have Mystic Mind down here, kind of curve out some of the format otherwise. Now, Once again, like I said here, you get room to adjust how you want here. We're choosing to play Mystic Mine over something like Ultimate Slayer, which you just saw a couple seconds ago. So, once again, I like diversity in these builds. You know, you don't have to stick to the one build in order to have it be the absolute, all right? So, diversity always remains king out here. Next up is, yes, finally, something different. This is our top 4 Despia deck here. Now, first thing, straight off the bat, we got Darkroot No Mores and Carasso Detonators here. Once again, shutting down the opponent's field so that you can set up, play the game, feels really good. Yes! I'm so excited to see this, man. Like, this is so freaking hilarious. Tribute your Masquerade for Deck Devastation Virus. Wipe your opponent's field. Like, this is the card to go first right now, man. Like, fueling this with Trap Tricks, you have 5 copies of this. You just got to open one of them and you're good to go. It's taken so long for trap cards to effectively take back off, but when Deck Devastation Virus is literally just kind of an auto flip free win button against the matchup, you take those, ladies and gentlemen. So yes, very, very, very powerful card, back doing its best out here. Next up here we have top 8 Danger. Nah, this is just tier elements. Good stuff. Basically, yes, we do play a danger package within the deck. It's not like crazy. It's just like Nessie's and the one Mothman here to facilitate, you know, the turboing through the deck. All right, like these all just trigger these and then start off with your thing. We also are playing Fusion Substitute down here. You know, banish this card from grab a target fusion monster, grab it, return it to the extra deck to draw a card. Definitely feels really good. All right, I don't know how many people like underestimate this, but it's always treated as polymerization. So technically, Gingo Swamp Dude's thing, right? Because add a polymerization from deck to hands, card's always treated as poly. It's definitely got its benefits, ladies and gentlemen. All things considered out here, when you can start to see, man, this is actually really saucy, seeing Fusion sub out here. I really didn't think we would consider this. I don't know if you've like paid attention to Fusion subs on the market recently, but they've gone up. All right. What are you doing here? Psychic Jumper. Once per turn, pay 1,000 life points, target one face monster opponent controls, and one Psychic type monster you control, except for Psychic Jumper. Switch control of both of those targets, and if you do, their battle positions cannot be changed. Well, that's really good. Technically we could hand our opponent a Ghost Ogre if we really wanted to. But this is a level 2 that we can E-Tully out in this deck. Now, I don't know how many people really give consideration to playing Psychic Jumper out here, but it does meet the requirements to be a tuner, to step into, you know, Hauki Fibrax to continue on with those combo lines. But, alright, I definitely like the application in play here. Because, I mean, you got the decent amount of E-Tully targets here for whatever you want to do. It's just you get access to something a little bit more spicy out of left field here. Also double talents. You get the chance to see a pointer showing back up down here. And a very smaller ratio of Ultimate Slayers here. But still, nonetheless, it all works out here. Our blind going second Eldritch list, baby. 45 cards here. We got the TC Boost. We got the Solemn Strikes. All the good stuff that you need. Oh, we got and the band plays on. Oh, so we don't want the opponent to get the chance to do anything. If you see a Sprite player set up a big board, you got 2 big balls that you can hand them, all right? Not a big problem here. Just beat your ball on over there, hand it to your opponent. You don't give 2 craps about your normal summon, man. If you got a... shouldn't be normal summoning Magician Souls anyway, you know, but that's fine. You got Lava Golems. This deck takes care of you, man. Like, this deck is family, all right? It's, yeah, there's not really much else to say about, like, the going second builds here. You do see, like, the power and things that develops around these particular builds. And you see why people want to play these. Like, they're just, you know, break your opponent's board deck. I also like the Heartbeast Feather Duster down here. You don't see a lot of back row hate right now. But the Brave package has definitely taken way more steps back here. And we also have 9th place for you guys here, which was another Eldritch list. Feel really bad that we got to see double Eldritch list back to back, one getting, you know, 8th place and then one getting 9th. But I do think it is a good chance to see, you know, the duality of these builds. You know, you can play the adventure package in the deck setup, or you can play the control version here with 30 trap cards and establish and make the builds that you need to do. Obviously, you know, Sky Prison and Golden Lord here are going to be your saviors, and then, you know, Cursed Elf plus draw power. It's all within the range of the normal build here. There's nothing too special in the main deck, but ratios do look pretty much good to go for that. So, that is your St. Louis regional breakdown for you guys. You surprised about any of this? Honestly, I don't think you should be. But please, leave a comment down below. Tell me what you're saying. Make sure you guys smash the crap out of that subscribe button. And I'll see your beautiful faces back here later in the day, guys. Peace out. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.